the door, perform hand hygiene. I'm Suzanne Loras. I'm a student nurse here at the College of Nursing. I'm going to be performing a musculoskeletal assessment on you today. Is that okay?
Yes.
So I'll assess your knees, and I would note that the color is tan and even bilaterally. I don't note any cyanosis, bruising, redness, swelling, and I'm going to palpate. Is it okay if I touch it? Touch your knees? So I'll palpate and note for any swelling, masses, or deformities. I do not note any swelling, masses, or deformities, and whenever I was palpating, I noted that your temp was warm and even bilaterally. Did you feel any pain or tenderness?
No.
So that's good. So now we're going to touch your musculoskeletal strength. So I'm going to have you hold your arms up like this, and I'm going to pull and you just resist. Okay? Now I'm going to push and you resist. So that's 5 out of 5 on the upper extremities. Now I'm going to push against your knees and you just resist. Okay? And I'm going to come down here. I'm going to pull and you resist. What? Pull. Okay, and now I'm going to push and you resist. That's hard. Did you stop?
No.
Almost stop. Okay, that's a 5 out of 5. Lower extremity. Really not doing anything. That's 5 out of 5 lower extremity. So that was, you had a 5 out of 5 upper and lower extremity. So now I'm going to touch your range of motion in your joints. I have you stand over there. Okay, so now I'm going to have you open your jaw, and now protrude your jaw. Now move it side to side. Okay, now I'm going to have you put your chin to your chest. That is flexion. Now up straight is extension. Now you bend your neck back. That's hyperextension. Now I'm going to have you do your ear to your shoulder. That's lateral rotation. And then if you look this way and this way, that's rotation. Now we're going to move on to your shoulder. So if you put your arms out straight, that is flexion. Put your arms to your side is extension. And then you put your arms out, that's hyperextension. And now if you put your arms up like this, that's abduction. Put your arms down, it's adduction. And now if you put your arms out, your elbows out in front of you, that is flexion. Straight is extension. And if you lock them out, that's hyperextension. And now if you put your palms flat, that is pronate, and this is supinate. Now I'm going to have you do your hands to your back, which is internal rotation. And then arms behind your head, that's external rotation. Good. So now we're going to do your wrist. If you have your wrist out flat, that is flexion. Your wrist up like this is extension. And if you do like this, bend them back, it's hyperextension. Now we're going to go to your fingers. If you do your hands out like this is flexion, flat is extension, and this is hyperextension. Good. So now we're going to go to we've done everything bilaterally so far. Now we're just going to do one at a time. So if you want to, you can hold on to the thing. So now I'm going to have you, we're going to do your hip. So if you bend your knee, that's flexion, extension, and now if you kick your knee back, that's hyperextension. Now if you do kick your leg out, abduction, this is put your leg in, that's adduction. Good. So now we're going to do, I'm going to have you bend your knee and then put it in. That is internal rotation. Out is external rotation. Now if you bend your knee, that's flexion. Staying straight is extension. And if you just lock your knee out, that's hyperextension. Okay, so now we're going to move on to your feet. If you curl your toes, that's flexion. Put your toes out is extension. Now if you put the sole of your foot out, that's eversion. Put the sole of your foot in is inversion. Good. And then if you point your toes down to the ground, that's plantar flexion. If you point your toes up to your chin, that is dorsiflexion. Okay, so now that was full range of motion and there was no crepitus. So now I'm going to have you check your spine. So if you will, just bend down like this. That is flexion. Stand up straight as extension. And if you bend back 30 degrees, that is hyperextension. Okay? So now I'm going to have you do the lateral rotation. So if you go like this and like this, that's lateral rotation. Now if you move like this without moving your hips, each side is rotation. Okay? So now I'm going to, you have full range of motion in all of your joints. Now I'm going to have you remove your shirt and turn it on. So now inspect your spine and know that your spine is straight and in alignment, and your shoulders, your scapula, and your iliac crest are all even. Then I would note that your cervical spine is concave, your thoracic spine is convex, and your lumbar spine is convex. And now I'm going to have you do your hands together like this and go down. And I'm going to, not that. Oh. Now I'm going to have you check for scoliosis. Okay, and I know that your shoulder is even, your scapula is even, and your iliac crest are even. And you can stand up now. And that concludes my musculoskeletal assessment.